Hello developers, welcome again. Hope you are doing well. This is the second part of our Vue.js project series, and we are going to build a single page checkout system with using Vue.js, which we named Vue Shopica. And please check out my previous video. If you don't watch the first part, you should have to watch this the first part first, so you can understand what's going on here. Previously we have built this login page, and what I have done so far, let me give you a little quick overview of what we have done and what we are going to do. Okay, so first of all, we have this login page, and I just added a background linear gradient to our page to give it a nice look. And I have placed this h1 tag here saying Vue Shopica with a Comic Sans font family. You can see that it's here. And previously we was able to do the login with this login button, and you can see that it's called, and we are logged in. You can see that the user is coming from main.js. Okay, so if you like my work, please don't forget to subscribe me and also press the bell icon so you can get my latest videos right into your notification box, so you don't miss any video from me. Okay, so let's get started without wasting any time. Okay, so today we have to do something like router authentication, and like showing some sweet alerts and loadings for all the errors, for all the successful messages, and for all the loading states. So first of all we are going to use Vue Sweet Alert 2. I have already installed it using my Node.js package installer npm. You can see npm Vue Sweet Alert 2. So you just have to install it, and you have to configure out it like that. You can get this all information from here. You just have to run this command, and you just have to put this code in your main.js, and it's all done. Okay, so let me give you a quick overview of what is Sweet Alert is. It's used for showing up the messages or toasts in our application, and like this you can see that in the error messages and toasts and success messages and loading state, etc. Okay, so let's use it in our application. We have here the store where we can log in. So you can first of all, let me say here I'm creating a script file and a script tag, and here in the created, let me just simply call this Sweet Alert. I will say this dot as well, and simply say this is an alert, for example. Okay, this is an alert. You can see if I refresh the page, so it will be called on created. This is an alert. This is very simple, and we can just simply call it like all the other things, like we can call Vue router and Vue store, etc. We can just call it in using the $sign and as well, and that's it. But what if we want to use our router or our or things which are registered globally in our application, in our store? Let me give you an overview here. If I say this dot store, this dot s well, and this is an alert called from store, it must give an error because this will be undefined here. So let me just simply remove this, and after alert we should have a Sweet Alert. Let's try it. Let me again refresh the page, and if I click on this alert, in this alert we should have an error. Like you can see that this dot dollar as well is not defined. It's not a function. Okay, so what we can do if we want to use the global components, globally registered things in our store or like in our router, like if we want to use our Firebase, like we registered it in here globally in our in the Vue prototype. So how we can actually access it? How we can we cannot say just firebase.auth. What if I want to say this dot fb? So this is a really very common problem, and let me say here, first of all we are going to solve things we are going to solve first of all, number one, how to call the global prototyped things, or like properties, objects in store dot. Yes, let's say, or if I say exactly in Vuex. This is our first problem, and we are going to solve it with a simple trick. We just have to say variable, or like let slash is equals this dot slash vn. So what's behind the scene is running in our store.js, in our index.js, in our Vuex. We have access to our virtual machine, to this VM. This is actually the virtually created environment by our Vue.js, and we can not access it with this dot and something. No, we cannot do that. But we can do that this .vm, and we can now use this as in the place of our this. But if you don't want to register a extra component, you can simply say that, but we have to use it too many times, so this is a good practice to use a placeholder in place of a lengthy constant or variables. Okay, so this should now work. Let me say login, and you can see that this is an alert card from store. No any error from any place, so we just solved it. Let me say solved. Okay, so we are not going to show any error message or any alert at this place. We are just going to show loading here. So we will say show loading. You can see the document of Vue Suite alert in here. You can find this very helpful because it have each and everything. You just have to practice the things. Don't use fire, directly use these things, and this will work fine. Okay, so whenever it will be called, this will be show loading, and if it's successful, then it will don't do anything. Just we have to do some routing here, and then if it's not successful and some error is here, we just have to say underscore as well, and then I'm going to say text and error occurred, or simply say error.message here, and then we have to say icon error, and that's it. Let's try changing our email. So we should have to create an email an error to test it. It's showing loading state and cannot read property auth of undefined. Oh, sorry, we have to say underscore here. Sorry for that. Okay, so let me create an error again. Perfect. There is no user record corresponding to this identifier. Okay, so this is error here. If I am successful, I should not have any error or any kind of alert. It's start running all the time, but we just have to say if it's successful, then underscore.sol.close. So it should be closed, and then in our main.js we have to say if our user is logged in, router.push, or simply replace. We are not going to push in history. We have to say to the dashboard, or I should have to create a dashboard here, or like let me say main page more precisely. We are not going to create a dashboard here. Main page, or let's say Shopica. That should be great. Shopica, and let me register a new route here in our router file. You have to say Shopica, and this should use Shopica. Again, this is same, import Shopica from add by components by Shopica simply, or sorry, we have to import this from views because this is a page, not a component dot view. And let's create a template function here, div, and this is the Shopica page, and we should have a sign out button so we can test if our sign out functionality is working. Sign out now. For a quick styling, I should say primary, and this should be a pill, so it should be a rounded nice button like here, sign out, and at click we should sign out. Let me define a function sign out here, methods, simply say this dot fb dot pause dot sign out. Okay, perfect. So we also have to tell our application whenever a user is logged out, we should have to move it to the home page, like router dot replace to the home page. But what if the person always in the home page, so we don't have to do anything. Okay, so let's try this, all the things. It should work fine without any validation. We will do that after the testing. Let me just simply refresh the page. So we are on the Shopika page, and if I click on sign out, it should be in home page. And again, if I say login, and this will be in here. Perfect. So let's guard our let's create some safe routes and some validations on our routers. And in here we should have to say before enter, so it will check before enter. This is the function. It have 3 parameters, to, from, and next. We should always have to say next if we want to go further, because let me say I'm not calling the next anymore. I'm just simply counseling.log to from actually where it want to go, and from it's coming, and this is the next. So I'm not saying next. So let's see what happens. No page will be loaded, and it will be stuck, and it will be actually loading for the next this next function to be called, and it will wait always for it will be stuck in here. Let me say next now, and it now should load the page just like that. Okay, so we can actually check. You can see that it's giving us an error, navigation duplicated. So what it's mean, it's actually saying that you are already on this page, on this home page, but you are again trying to go to this page. So we are on this page, and we are going to try on this page. So this is the error. So let me simply solve it by saying a logout and then router. Let's see what is inside the router object. In here, view router, it has something called history, and then we have current and then name. Okay, so we can see current, and then sorry, not current route, history, then current, sorry, history dot current, and current and paths. So we can actually apply a check if router.history.current path is not equals to this home page path, then we should have to do this, and otherwise don't do anything, because it's actually on home page. So you can see that no any error here, and everything is just working fine. Okay, so let me say we was on our authentication guards. This is actually called authentication guard, and we should have to say that let me say this dot or variable current user, and this should be this dot VM, again from the method I was explained, paths, and then current user, and simply log out or say if current user, then this means if the current user exists, then we have to proceed to dashboard, otherwise else we can go next. Simply let me format the file. Okay, let's see what happens now. Okay, it's giving an error, cannot read property VM of undefined. I think we should have to import this trick will only work in store, but not here. We can say that import Firebase from Firebase, and we can replace the things with Firebase. Let's see what happens now. Firebase app has been created. Okay, so the router is actually called before the Firebase application is created. Like in here, you can see that. So what we can do, we have to simply say if the user is defined, then mount the application, or if the user is not defined, then again mount the application. This is just for the fact that Firebase should be called, but it's not working anyway. Okay, so let's solve this error. Okay, so I just find a solution for this error. What's going on here is simply before our Firebase is actually initialized, our router and our store and our application and our render function is set to be called before our Firebase is actually initialized. So we just have to move these four lines of code to here, not here, after this else section. Remember this. Okay, so now we can remove this Vue app. We don't need it anymore from here also. So whenever our whenever our user is authenticated or it's not authenticated, whatever its authentication state is, our render function will only be called after actually we should have to say mount. So the application should be mounted after our Firebase is set up. Okay, so let's refresh the page, and we should not have the error anymore. Okay, that's fine, but it's not getting mounted. Why? We should have to say mount and then app, like this, mount and id app. So now there should not be any error here. Just perfect. Okay, so now in our router we can say in our Shopika we can say simply before enter we should have to check. We should first have to say current user, and the current user should be equals firebase dot auth dot current user. And if there is some current user exists, we can go next. Otherwise we should have to fall back to our main page like that. So signing out, and we should, if I now try to go to Shopika, it should fall back to our main page just like that. Perfect. Okay, so our authentication is done at this point, and okay, thank you for your time. Go ahead and do practice, and if you encounter any kind of error, please tell me so we can fix it live in here. And please give me some recommendations if you have, and what you think about this series, and please give me your ideas in the comment section below this video. Okay, and also you can find this all code on GitHub. You can find the link of the repository in the link in the description, and you can actually test all the things from these code files. And that's it. Thank you for your time.